There you are.
Hey, there we are. Doing a little show prep. Get ready for the Kurre and Klapow show. It's like, let's start it. We're going to talk a little Brittney Griner today.
Yeah. That's some serious shit. Like, that's not funny.
No, it's not funny, but it's stupid. It's stupid that she put herself in that position.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yes. Well, we'll talk about it because I know a lot of people want to see her get back, and a lot of people are hammering on her for being a rush in the first place. I'm not going to do that because...
You know what they pay her in the WNBA?
Yeah, about 4 times what they're making in the WNBA. So right. I totally get that. You go where the money is, and I don't think anyone knew she was even there. I mean, unless you're a big women's basketball fan, you didn't even know Brittney Griner was there. But and we'll talk about that. I got a stalker story I want to get into. If there's a rat or something up in your attic, do you hear it?
Yeah, I mean,
could somebody? Is it possible? Now your house is not huge, but you have a really nice place, and you're empty nesters, right? Your place is obviously bigger than mine, but if I hear like a rat or like a nut drops in my attic, I hear it.
Yeah, no, we have. Yes.
Is it possible that someone could live in your attic for 3 months and you not know?
No.
Okay.
Not unless they were dead or not moving. They lay quiet. I'm trying to think.
Like my kids.
Do we have a mattress or something? We got sleeping bags.
Whenever my kids hear something in the attic, go up there and check. And I'm like, it's going to be an animal. Somehow it got in.
Yeah.
And they always think it's a human. I'm like, how the hell would someone, they'd have to come in the house, pull the thing down. Now, in this particular case, this stalker got in from the outside. Oh. But he was there long enough that he came downstairs while she slept.
To get up.
And made copies of her keys. So when she left the house, he could come in the house when he wanted to. Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that story in a few minutes. And also, we have a Tinder story and a TikTok story we want to get into. Tinder's doing background checks, which should. I
think that's great. You don't think so?
I think what part of it, like if you find out in one case some dude raped like 6 women, yeah, that's obviously something. And you're not going to say, oh, by the way, I like to take long, slow walks on the beach, drink wine, and by the way, I've raped 5 people. You don't want to do that.
They charging extra for it?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it's diversifying their product line.
I'm sure.
I love it. This is what we'll talk about on Adaptogen.
And we'll also get into a TikTok story that you've been quoted in. You're not talking to the kids. I love it.
Fortunately, my kids are no longer teens, so we timed it perfectly.
But mine are. My kids will be watching it. I'm going to make them read it. Hey, before we do that, I inadvertently gave a wrong date yesterday. Workplay is reopening tomorrow night.
When did you say?
No, they're reopening tomorrow. The doors open around 4 o'clock. The bar, they're not going to be open Monday through Friday yet. I'm like, Tommy, you need to open up 4 o'clock. And he blew me up yesterday. It was my fault, but I wanted to give out some information. So they're opening tomorrow. There's going to be some live entertainment there in the bar. And then Saturday, March 12th, Matthew Mayfield, Birmingham native, is going to be taking the stage at 8 o'clock. And John Paul White, who's won a Grammy, is with the band Civil War from Muscle Shoals. He'll be playing a show, and I just reposted something on Facebook. He put a video out. He's going to be playing 9 o'clock. Doors open at 7 o'clock, but you can get there before 7 o'clock. The doors will probably be up around 5 o'clock. Grab yourself a couple of drinks. But Matthew Mayfield, John Paul White, 8, 9 o'clock on Saturday at Workplay. But the place reopens on Friday. I got all excited yesterday, and I inadvertently got my day messed up. And Tommy's like, it's Saturday. I was like, I realized that. Hopefully people get there Friday, and they'll stay all the way through the weekend. How's that? Tickets at workplay.com. Tickets at workplay.com. You want to go check into the shows. And, of course, Tommy and his lovely bride and his daughter, big sponsors and partners of Tony Kurre Radio here in the Kurre and Klapow.
All right, before you go into the main stuff, I have a random tidbit classic rock question for you because you are the guru, and now that you just said it, it dawned on me because I heard it the other day.
That's right.
The person who's performing from Muscle Shoals, right?
Yes.
How many times do you think Muscle Shoals is referenced in classic rock songs? Like not just Skinner.
Like specifically?
Yes, because I am blanking, but in the last few weeks, I have heard on a variety of songs, and I can't remember them right now. Yeah. Talking about Muscle Shoals, and it's not Skinner.
No, there's a lot of bands that reference Muscle Shoals.
Yes,
specifically Muscle Shoals, but more so if you just look at Muscle Shoals music scene. I mean, it was the mecca of where everybody in the South went to produce records. So much so the Rolling Stones.
I was going to say not just the South.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things where it was like playing the Fillmore East. like it was a bucket list to have a song produced in Muscle Shoals.
It's really interesting.
There's a huge contingency of great talent from studio players. Like if you needed players, like I need a flute player, I need a guitar player, whatever.
Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals is like they make a phone call and the dude's driving in 15 minutes later.
That's so cool. I just think that's so cool.
No, it's great. It's a crown jewel certainly in this wonderful state. So today is International Bagpipe Day. You ever play a bagpipe?
No.
You know the old joke? It's not a bagpipe, don't stop blowing. You ever heard that?
No. Please tell me, have you played a bagpipe?
I have one time. Have you ever played an accordion?
One time.
Yeah. Bagpipes are hard. You got to blow your ass, man.
Don't you have to put it between?
Yeah, it's very difficult. It really is. Today is International Day of Awesomeness. Happy Awesomeness today, dude.
That's awesome.
Today is Landline Telephone Day. When was the last time you used a landline? Do you have a landline at home?
Nope.
You don't have one plugged in?
We finally.
We're part of the Spectrum thing, so it's part of the bundle.
Well, no, yeah.
Do you remember what your landline phone number is?
Yeah.
What is it? Who cares?
980-1369.
Yeah, mine's 995-13 or.
Do you remember all your telephone numbers?
No, I don't.
I do when I was a kid. I won't give them out, but I remember literally from my first telephone number.
Really? Mine was 777-9808. Yeah, I remember that home number, but I don't remember any of the other numbers. Yeah. And today is World Kidney Day. Birthdays today before we get deep into this thing. Chuck Norris has a birthday today.
73.
82.
Oh, he looks good then.
Doesn't he look good?
Because he's doing all kinds of infomercials for his.
If you put the stuff in the hair,
and you got hair,
and you do it early enough, people just
and he's doing his infomercials. He's kind of, you know what?
He's a great shape.
That's kind of a Jack LaLanne. I know I'm dating myself, but he's got a guy. If he's 82, that's great.
Who dies first, Arnold Schwarzenegger or Chuck Norris?
Oh.
Arnold's up there, right? He's 78, something like that?
No, I don't think he's that old. No, I don't think he's quite that old. It's that whole, if Chuck Norris is 82 and Arnold is under 75, I think Arnold goes first. So? Arnold's done some stuff to his body that I'm thinking Chuck Norris hasn't.
Okay. Bad Bunny turns 28 today. Sharon Stone. I'm in not only because it's Sharon Stone, but Sharon Stone is a really, really, really attractive woman for her age.
75.
She's 64.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. Golly.
I don't know.
Shannon Tweed. And I bring her up.
Yeah.
Because it takes a special woman.
Dead?
No, she's still alive. She's 65. It takes a special woman to be married to Gene Simmons. Now, they were together for like years and years and years, and she wanted to get married. He didn't want to get married. His tropes and his runabouts and his screwing around on her are legendary. I don't know if it's not an open relationship, but it's one of those knock it off, stop screwing these 17-year-olds and come back to me kind of thing. But they've been together forever. She was a Playboy bunny. Yeah. Takes a special woman. We'll probably see her on our episode of Baywatch, which is on the TV up in front. I got Baywatch back on.
Thank you.
She turned 65. Robin Thicke from The Masked Singer. I never knew.
Wait, is his dad dead?
Yeah, Alan died.
Okay.
I didn't know who Robin Thicke was until I saw the blurred lines thing.
I had no idea.
And I'm thinking, who is this guy, and why is so many people think he's all that? And then I realized that he has written like a ton of songs for some. I mean, he's written a ton of.
So is he 40?
Songs. He's 45. Jimmy V would have been. I know, right?
Let's see, 73.
76. He would have been 76 today. Mm-hmm. The last remaining surviving member of Boston today, Tom Schultz, is 75.
The rest of them are dead?
Yeah.
Did they die in early...
Brad Delp committed suicide back in 2007, 2008.
You're really bumming me out.
And of course,
I think someone's living
That was actually my lift.
Oh.
But boy, upstairs it sounds like someone's in the attic. And also Dean Torrance, you know who that is?
No.
Janet Dean.
Oh!
Got the album right there.
Oh! You know, my mom went to school with Jan and Dean and was in class at UCLA with Jan and Dean.
Really? Mm-hmm. Dean Torrance is 82 today.
Yeah, it makes sense. My mom's 80.
One of the first shows I ever did here was bringing Jan and Dean on at the BJCC Concert Hall. And, do you remember, I was 11 years old, and I saw the movie Dead Man's Curve. Do you remember that movie? Mm-hmm. Did everyone see that movie, or was that one of those Saturday morning things that?
No, I think a lot of people did.
For some reason, I saw that movie and it really affected me. I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't watch a lot of movies when I was younger. But I remember seeing Dead Man's Curve. He rolls up the back of the truck, and of course, Jan gets out there. They're doing a concert and they're playing a tape of him singing. It was one of the first times they actually played a tape, and the crowd's going crazy, and the tape messes up.
Oh, so it's first lip syncing.
And they realize that it wasn't Jan singing, and the crowd starts to boo, and then Jan gets up there and actually starts to sing the song, and the people go crazy. It's a great moment. But Jan and Dean came to the BJCC Concert Hall. It was 1989, something like that, 1990. And I got a Jan and Dean, Surf City, Detroit City. They got all the Soul City, all the albums. And I asked Dean to sign it, and he wrote to Tony, "Have a very bitchin' summer," and he wrote "and Dean," and I said, "Any chance I can get Jan to sign this album?" And he goes, "You can try. I'll see if I can get him out here for you." He said, "But he's pretty messed up." At that point, he had to hold his arm.
Yeah.
This is 1989, so he was pretty messed up from the wreck, and he came out, was super nice. But I felt bad to even ask him to sign it, but he didn't sign it. But you know what? I love the album even more because there's a story behind it. Because
what year was that? You said
1989.
That is so time stamped. Have a bitch in summer.
Because
I graduated in '86.
Yeah.
Like that's every signature in your yearbook.
Yeah.
Dude, you're so cool. So good to get to know you, bro. Have a bitch in summer.
Have a bitch in summer. I love that. It's great. And I like the fact that it doesn't have Jan's name on it.
Yeah,
because
cool.
there's actually a story behind it. So happy birthday to Dean Torrance. He turns 82 today. Quick news on Novak Djokovic. He announced yesterday that he's not going to be coming back to the United States because he's not allowed to come back in because he's not vaccinated. I didn't realize that you still had to be vaccinated to get back in this country, which I'm fine with at this point.
Yeah, you do.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. I didn't realize that though because I figured with everything dropping off, we're not wearing masks anymore. Maybe they relaxed some of the rules. But he was supposed to play in a couple of tournaments, one in Miami and another one that starts today. And he wasn't pissed off about it. He's like, "Sorry, fans, I can't come because..." And so he didn't say he was disappointed, but he didn't hammer anybody for it.
It's kind of like.
I'm like, that's the rules. That's the rules.
Yeah.
And just because you're Novak Djokovic, that's the rules. And just because you're the number one player in the world and you have the most Grand Slams of all time, it's sad that your fans aren't going to see you. You know, I don't know how much longer he's going to play, but that's the rules, and I'm totally cool with it.
What's interesting to me, though, is, I mean, he's just doing what he wants to do. What's interesting is you put him up against... I mean, again, he's number one in the world, but you think about Nadal, and you think about Federer, and you think about just the other players who haven't taken this stand. And instantly I go to Kyrie Irving. It's really interesting where if you hold your ground long enough, people kind of get over it. Like, it's kind of, it's not that it's okay or not okay, but people are kind of like, okay, what? Okay, fine. Fine. Do your thing. I mean, you do your thing. Kyrie Irving one is a little different because of the nature of the rules. He's in and he's out and he's in and he's out. But I mean, I love watching Djokovic play.
He's a huge draw. Obviously, he's the number 2 player in the world right now. He was number 1. He fell to number 2 because he couldn't play in the Australian Open or could not play in these tournaments, subsequent tournaments. So, I mean, when the number 1 player, number 2 player in the world, the Grand Slam all time, can't play in your tournament, that's a huge draw. And the fact they can't do that, it sucks. But again, if you're going to dig your heels in...
Is he the only player...
Funny thing is, you remember he did the whole Serbia thing?
Yeah.
Where he said, fine, I'll do my own tournament. He did his own tournament, and half the group got COVID because you didn't have to be vaccinated or wear a mask or anything else. Then he got COVID not once but twice.
Right.
And it's kind of like, all right, what you know. So I'm kind of over it.
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to ask you about this Brittney Griner thing. You sent me the story when it first broke, and I commented to you on it.
Well, and I said it to you, let me just say, not when it first broke. I mean, we're going to talk about this. Like, I sent it to you, I hadn't known. I mean, the story had been kind of out for a while.
Yeah.
Because she'd been detained for a few weeks already.
Yeah. When I went to the Olympics, And then we went to Switzerland. I went on a couple of trips to the radio station. And one of the areas we stopped through was Amsterdam. And my boss was like, "Oh, Lord, Tony, Kurre in Amsterdam, look out."
But it's the same thing.
He looked at me before we got on the plane and said, "No international incidents, all right?" And he was joking, but not really. And I was like, "I gotcha." And he's like, "Do you know the laws over there?" Because you need to know the laws.
See him talking to you.
You need to know the laws of
You were
the
like,
land.
how old were you?
24.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's like babysitting.
It's
Oh,
like,
God.
no, when you're a little armor, please. No, I know you like to get ratings. I know you want to do something to get ratings, but please, no international incidents. We don't want to have you deported or anything like
It's
that.
like a little kid that you're taking
know,
to
right?
the park. Now, Tony.
Yeah. And so I knew, and I wasn't a big dope smoker, a big drug kid. I mean, I love to drink. So when I went to the red light district, I knew what was legal, what was not legal, who you hung out with, who you didn't hang out with, because if you do hang out with people that deal drugs in Amsterdam, for people who don't know, most of the bars are two-story bars. The upper floor is where you drink and dance, and the lower part is where you get your drugs. Mm-hmm. And you go downstairs if you want to get drugs, and there'd be a dude or a woman behind a laminate case like a ticket window. Mm-hmm. And there'd be a book with laminated pages, nice. Thousands of things, and you order. I'd like to have 2 117s and like a Chinese restaurant, and I'll have a side of 3. And it could be anything from hash, coke, marijuana, heroin, prostitution. Oh, it was everything. Anything and everything you wanted.
Really?
And as long as it was done in the clubs, cops didn't look at it. Now, I knew that it was illegal. It's illegal, but they don't, because they're paying taxes. Now, if you go get something on the street, like drug dealers in Amsterdam, man, you get caught, you're going to jail for the rest of your life, because you're not. That's not cool, because it's readily available everywhere if you want to go get it. And there were some clubs like there was a whole club where it was people with animals.
Huh?
Yeah, like animals, like doing things with animals.
I mean, doing things.
There were live sex shows. It was nasty. Ooh. It was nasty, but it was clean in a nasty kind of way. It was like as clean as a nasty area could be. And again, you don't want to go to those parts. It's kind of like New Orleans, a little bit. You can find. We had Stuart Roman, When in Rome. His show airs tomorrow at 1 and 7. You want to find trouble, you can go find trouble.
Yeah.
You want to have a really good time and keep it legal, you can do that too. It's like Vegas and New Orleans. And so, anyway, I was told, we went to Jamaica as part of a trip with the radio station.
Jeez,
there's marijuana everywhere. The minute you get off the plane, people are stuffing marijuana in the front of your thing. And he's like, and I'm like,
how much older was
you get stoned when
how much older was your GM than you?
I'm probably 20 years old.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So, I mean, you get stoned the minute you get off the plane in Jamaica, whether you smoke or not.
No,
I mean,
secondhand stoned. Absolutely.
Yeah. And, all I had was like 6 $1 bills. I gave the guy $100. He said, I'll be back with a change. I knew he was gone. It was all I had. But I remembered thinking, boy, I'd like to bring some of this back, because I had friends of mine here who smoked dope.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, because I'm not going. So I had to flush all this wonderful weed down the toilet. I mean, enough that it clogged the toilet up when I left the hotel. And so I see the Brittney Griner thing. And again, I didn't even know Brittney was in Russia. I knew who she was. She's one of the all-time greatest WNBA stars. Mm-hmm. She's done a wonderful job bringing to light women's sports and women's basketball and the LGBTQ community. Yep. She's obviously got a wife. She's really pretty, by the way. Mm-hmm. And so I'm thinking to myself, she's 6'9". Mm-hmm. She's walking through an airport in Russia, even if it was still Cold War area, that she's going to be looked upon. I'm a 6'4" guy. People see me because I'm a taller, bigger guy. So you don't want to bring anything to bring any attention to yourself.
And she's a basketball star.
I
mean, a huge star in Russia.
So you don't think that they're going to be giving her a twice look over here. And then I see that she's got, the little, I guess the vape canisters, the little, and it was, now I will say this, hash sounds a lot worse than marijuana.
Yes.
Hash is a derivative from marijuana. It is like 10 times stronger than marijuana. It's got a lot more THC in it. It'll knock you off your ass. I've done it. Black tar stuff. It's nasty. It'll just woo. So I'm thinking to myself, first of all, she knew the war was going on, and this is a month, I guess, about 3 weeks before the war. But we knew that this thing's been ramping up for months, right? So we knew we were probably going to have some issues with Russia through this. It disappoints me that she put herself in that position, because we're all looking at, she needs to be exported. We need to get her back here as soon as possible. She needs to be protected. She's going to be used as a pawn. This is a political thing. Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, screw all that. Well, if she hadn't done the dumbass thing of trying to travel with hashish oil in her bag, she wouldn't be in this position. And that's the part that bothers me most. And she's old enough. She's what, 31? Mm-hmm. She should know better. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm like, yeah, I want her back here in the United States. I don't know what will happen to her over here. But I'm also like, I don't want to spend all of our resources with our congressmen, our senators, and all these people working to get her out, spending all their time trying to just get her out because she's Brittney Griner. Well, okay. Should
we have a discussion on this?
Sure.
I agree. I agree with everything you said. I mean, we talk about this all the time. You made a really bad decision.
Yeah.
It was a bad decision whether you were in Russia or not. Mm-hmm. It was a bad decision for all the reasons that you just described, in addition to it being illegal. And then you sort of layer on all the things. You're highly visible, you put yourself at risk, all those kinds of things. I think what's concerning to me, and I think concerning to a lot of people, is given one, where we're at right now with Russia, how can I say this? There is an opportunity for her to not be treated appropriately, right? And this is what the concern is. And even before you get to political pawn, the fact that the other thing is, depending on who and what situation, a lot of very anti-LGBTQ views. And I'm not talking all of Russia, but
well, Putin's got laws.
Yes. Well, and she is a major celebrity. Yeah. The thing that's really weird about all this is, in addition to all that, and this is where it gets just so weird culturally, she's a major celebrity there.
Yeah.
She's beloved there. Mm-hmm. So you kind of wrapping your head around it, you're going, okay, not that she should be getting off easy, but if she's beloved there, should they? But we are in some crazy ass times right now, and I do think what is the concern is we don't know. You know, like we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if she's going to be used as a political pawn or not. But there's a lot of things that we don't know right now, and it's kind of like we've talked about. The last thing we want to do right now is get somebody twitchy.
Yeah.
And the thing that's unfortunate is just, it's unfortunate. Should she be punished for whatever she did, for what she did? Yes. It's really unfortunate if she's being treated inhumanely, unfairly, and then there's a lot of sort of legal scholars and lawyers and whatever coming in and saying this is kind of a BS. Given what she's done, there's no way she should be held for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That, you know, maybe it's the equivalent of a misdemeanor.
Part of me wants to act like we didn't even know what happened, because I think the more press we give it, the more the Russians or Putin or whoever it is realizes how much we want her back, and then they can use that as a pawn. If we just said, Brittney Griner, whatever, who knows Brittney Griner? Yeah, do whatever you got to do. Because I can promise you, she ain't the only American over there right now being held against her will. And we're not doing anything else for anyone else. And because it's Brittney Griner, we have to. I mean, I get it. I understand
it. We don't know that we're not doing anything else for anybody else.
We're trying. But I hate when we have 4 or 5 different people using all of their resources in order to get Brittney Griner back in the United States. And she messed up. And I'm kind of like, I'm not saying she needs to spend 10 years in prison.
Well, that's the concern.
But it's kind of like, and if I'm her wife, I'm like, what the hell were you thinking? What, I mean, let's talk about husbands and wives. What the hell are you doing?
Yes.
I mean, when I go out of town, I try to remember that I'm in someone else's town. I had a friend of mine who went to Tijuana.
Oh, you gotta be careful.
On vacation.
I've been there.
He was gone from work for 2 months. You know why? because he got hooked up with some dude that was going to show him around town. He got high. Next thing you know, he's out in the middle of the desert in a van with a blindfold on. And I'm like, then why the hell did you do this? Well, it was Tijuana, man. I thought it was good. There's young girls and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, you dumbass. You go to a strange town, then you need to know the rules and regulations. You need to, the best thing to do is if you got the money and the resources, you go to the concierge. You know, when you ever go to Vegas and you want to get in trouble, you want an escort, or you want to do something illegal, you want drugs, you go to the concierge at Caesars and go, hey, listen, I'm looking for a little something. Can you help me out here? They're not going to turn you in.
Right.
Because they don't want people to, and they'll be more than happy to. Now, obviously, the more money you're throwing around, the easier it gets. But you go to people that are reliable sources for you. If that's what you have to have, if you have to have an escort when you're in Tijuana or an escort in Russia, or you have to smoke your hashish oil in Russia.
That's the thing that's so funny to me it's absolutely how much you're willing to risk. How much you're willing to risk. You know, it's one thing to go, again, so think about gambling. Gambling, you're risking things. You're risking money.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like Amsterdam, only it's legalized. You're going to be in a setting. You're going. We can talk about Ridley. You know but the thing that is always amazing to me about human beings is we go in and we instantly start doing these rationalizations. It's not going to happen to me. I got to do this.
I've gotten away with it for a long period of time.
It's a bucket list. Yeah. It's something that's just going to make this trip or this thing so much better. And we twist ourselves into absolutely believing, A, I'm not going to get in trouble, even if it's illegal, or A, I'm not going to get in trouble even though I'm betraying my wife or my partner or whatever. B, I'm justified because I've worked really hard. I've saved my money. I don't get to have any fun. Yep. My life is boring. So you know what? And then that's the buildup. And this mostly men. Mostly men go this way, wouldn't it? We build that up, and then it's the tipping point. So I've saved my money. I've worked my ass off. You know, I've sacrificed. My relationship's boring. All this thing. You know what? And then as soon as we do it, screw it. Yep. I'm going for it. And as soon as you say screw it, like internally, that is when you throw caution to the wind. Gambling, forget it. Put it all in.
Yeah.
And in that moment, psychologically, you're in a totally altered state. You believe what is not true. You discount what is true, and you just are in it. And the problem is, like you said, occasionally you get away with it, and then it's just reinforcing.
It is crazy because we think of athletes as so disciplined. And,
right.
I'm going through a portion of my life right now where I'm not really disciplined, which is kind of scary because I'm waking up at different hours. I'm not eating the right meals. I've gained a little, and it's like, wow.
For the people who've known you for years, did you hear what you just said?
I know, right?
Tony Kurre just said, I'm not living very disciplined. I'm waking up at different hours, and I'm not eating healthy meals.
I know. Taking naps. I love you.
I'm not exercising quite enough, and I'm not hydrating. Oh my God. Tony Kurre, we still love you.
You just think of someone that's so, but I mean, I just saw Tiger Woods. You know, he got inducted into the World Golf Hall of Fame or whatever. Nice 14-year-old yesterday. Guy's been through a lot of shit in his life. Talk about a guy who's not very disciplined, but boy, on the golf course, he sure is. I mean, he even said that. He's like, listen, I realized from my dad that I had to work for everything I got. Nothing was going to come to me free. The only things you get are the things you work for. If you don't work for them, you don't get them. And blah, 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 blah. And then I'm looking at car crashes and golf clubs upside the head and drugs and DUIs, and I'm like...
You know why? Because of exactly what you just said. If you crunch... Psychologically, you crunch somebody into ultimate rigidness, like the dedication, sacrificing everything. You have to be the best, precise, all the things for our pro athletes. You don't get to do anything that most of us get to do. Sometimes an athlete will adopt that into their entire life, okay? A lot of times, though, it gets a huge pushback or explosion in some other area.
Yeah.
It's like you've restricted me, or I've restricted myself so much in everything that I do to do my sport. When it comes to gambling, I'm all in.
Yeah.
It comes to this is spending the money.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to buy cars and houses and things. And it's a lot of it is, it really is, I'm entitled to, for two reasons. One, I made the money, but more importantly, I've earned it because of all the things that I don't get to do. Yep. And this is why you see the kind of herky-jerky, impulsive stuff with some of these athletes. Yep. You know, again, with Ridley, I don't know, but Tiger Woods, it makes sense. Some of the ones who run all their money out, it makes sense because when you crank somebody down that much, I shouldn't say this because they're cranking themselves down.
Yeah, we were. I mean,
but it does. If
Brittney Griner's smoking hash every night, no one's calling her out for it. She probably got bought for it.
Yeah.
The majority of us can't do that.
No, but in order to get where she has had to restrict so much stuff in her life that it doesn't surprise me that she'll do something impulsive. It's almost like, dude, it's like passing gas. It's like holding a fart in. Seriously, I would only say that on this show.
I'm going to talk about one of our great sponsors, Driscoll Gray, in a second. I want to mention WorkPlay is reopening. Super excited. It's been over 2 years. Tommy and Courtney are ready to reopen the doors. They'll reopen tomorrow right around 4 or 5 o'clock. Go down there, have yourself a pop. They got some live entertainment in the bar area. And then on Saturday, Matthew Mayfield starts at 8 o'clock. John Paul White from Civil War is on his own now, Grammy Award winner from Muscle Shoals. He'll be playing at 9 o'clock on Saturday. Get your tickets. Tickets at workplay.com. Tickets at workplay.com. Check out WorkPlay. They're reopening tomorrow after a couple of years. I know he's super excited, and we'll have some more details. You go to workplay.com and check out their whole list of great shows. We'll talk about gas here in a second. Talk about Driscoll Gray, speaking of money.
Yeah. So I called John 6 times as of late.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I took, look, I was a starting graduate student. I really was. I was living on lentils, and you lived on mayonnaise and, like...
Mayonnaise and bread, mayonnaise sandwiches.
So I was on the West Coast. I lived on lentils and ramen. Mm-hmm. And I worked hard to save my money, and, John Gray at DriscollGray.com has helped me navigate not just my life with my kids and all the finances that go with it. I've had deaths in the family, estate issues, just all this kind of stuff. Driscoll Gray and John Gray is always there. Right now, it's really uncertain times.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose your money. We don't, most of us. I sure as hell don't. I don't know exactly what I should be doing with my money. That's where John Gray comes in. You call him, go to his webpage, DriscollGray.com. He will help you navigate these unprecedented times.
Yeah, he just reached out to me. I'm supposed to have lunch with him or coffee with him. I was supposed to have it with a couple days ago. But I was supposed to meet with him tomorrow, and he just reminded me I have to pay my privilege tax.
Yeah, I know. I hate that. I hate that it's called privilege.
It's no wonder
it's
anyone
not that
wants
much.
to start a small business. In order to have a business, you have a privilege tax, which means it's your privilege to start a small business, which means you're stroking a check. I don't even know where it goes. 3 questions for Dr. Josh Klapow. Don't get semantic on me. Don't start asking questions. Just answer the question.
Go.
I still can't believe blank is dead.
There's a lot of them.
Then tell me why.
I'm just Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the first one. Part of it is where I'm sitting in the studio. I mean, I could go through a lot of them, but Eddie Van Halen. You know the other one that came to my mind?
What's that?
Just as long as we're doing our free association, Princess Di.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff, but Eddie Van Halen, because it reminded me of my mortality.
Yeah.
Because of the age similarity. Princess Di, she was a princess. It was tragic. Her life was tragic. We all watched it.
Yeah.
I think those are the two, and those are the ones that they directly relate to my youth, and I think that's why they stick Prince. I mean,
Prince is the one I went with, and I heard a Prince tune. That's why I came up with the question.
Yeah,
I heard a Prince tune yesterday and was like, man, that sucks.
That's exactly.
Dead. Because, I mean, we've had Damon Johnson on, Austin Hanks, and these guys that have played with Prince and knew Prince, and they're like, you don't realize just how incredible the talent he was.
Yes.
Weird. Had to have his entourage. Insecure. but just an amazing
Yes.
artist.
Yes.
He could play every instrument known to mankind. And I heard this song, I was like, man, that sucks that he's dead. I can't believe. So it wasn't like I can't believe he died at such an early age. But I just, it's like
that's really a good one.
Auckland, New Zealand resident Ryan Nixon threw out a Twitter poll back on March 5th. He said, this is the stupidest debate question ever, but it's garnered 223,000 votes. Do you think there are more doors or wheels in the world? It is a dumb thing, but 223,000 people.
We got a lot of time on
Talk about shit that goes viral. I'm putting stuff out. I'm trying to go viral. This guy's got like 12 followers. He puts this out, and he's got 223,000 followers. Now he's got cranberry juice companies want to sponsor.
I was hoping my squirrel follies would make it. It just didn't.
You got to keep putting it out.
They don't go. Was that a real question? More doors or wheels?
Are there more doors or wheels in the world?
Wheels broadly defined?
Wheels. Just wheels.
I don't know. There's more wheels.
53% said wheels, 47% said doors. There's a lot of doors.
Was there an answer?
No, there's not. We don't know.
That makes it even more stupid.
I know, it's ridiculous, right?
Why don't you put one thing out there? You should put something. More underwear or socks.
Yesterday I did a whole thing on gasoline on the show. And I was up at the gas station up at the corner. And I mentioned a couple things.
It's rolling.
And this kid hops out, probably 19, 20 years old, and he's like, "You Tony Kurre?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Dude, your gas thing, man, killed me this morning."
Oh, really?
And I was like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "This is going to cost me $83 to fill up my SUV." And I said, "Well, first of all, you're driving an $83,000 vehicle that gets about 9 miles the gallon, dumbass."
Did you really do this?
Yeah.
Now you're old
and
man Tony Kurre.
He's like, "So I don't feel for you. You probably go to Spain Park or Indian Springs. You're driving a $93,000 tricked out vehicle. It had the mags and everything." And I'm like looking at it. I'm driving a 2013 Honda Odyssey with a dent in the side, and I'm filling up for $47.50. You're putting $93 in. I'm like, "Yeah, well, your daddy's probably paying for it, right?" And he just kind of looked at me, and I was like, I said, "Do I need to go through my whole discussion again?" Because the average American, was out there for like 15 minutes with his kid.
And another thing.
The average American.
Did you hold your reading glasses and do this at him?
And I said, "Here's a video." Yeah, it's a 4-year-old Ukrainian girl singing "Let It Go." Yeah. Because she's been down in the basement of her grandma's house for 3 weeks. Right. She has nothing to eat. Look at this and tell me how much is going to hurt your wallet, rich boy. Yeah. And I didn't say that. So the average American drives on taxes 15,000 miles a year, which is 150 to 200 miles a week, which sounds like quite a bit, quite frankly. One of my point is it's going to cost us, if gasoline goes up $1 more a gallon, which it has in the last week, it's going to cost you an average of $10 to $12, $13 a week. Okay? Which is $560-something a year. That's a lot, assuming that it lasts another year, and it probably will. It's going to get more expensive, so double that. But at the same time, I'm thinking, while you're sitting there in the carpool at Oak Mountain for 45 minutes with your car running because it's 47 degrees and you're bitching around gasoline. These parents, oh, what a day. I had to go to the doctor and I had to call my tax guy and then I had to go pick my kid up in carpool. You sat in carpool for an hour and a half. I see you at 1:30 in the afternoon trying to get first in carpool, and they think sitting in their car for an hour and a half on their phone doing puzzles and stuff or Wordle or whatever, and it's like work. I'm like, you're sitting there for an hour and a half. Well, I had to sit in carpool for 45 minutes. No, you didn't. Right. Pull in right at 3 o'clock. You're going to pull right through, and your gasoline's running because you're running your engine.
And you're running your engine no matter whether it...
Yeah, it could be 75 degrees, and you just run the car. I'm like, I don't want to hear about it. So, and then they're leaving there and they're going to get, a cup of coffee for $7.50 in Starbucks. Yeah. And I'm like, no one wants to lose a pound a week in this world of ours. You lose a pound or two a week, you can still have your chocolate cake, still have your fast food, do your thing, maybe you're walking an extra mile a week, and you lose the weight in 3 months, you look fantastic. We all want to lose, that's the clickbait, lose 23 pounds by Tuesday. Holy shit, I'm in. Yep. We don't want to take things gradually. We just want to lose it all right now and think it's gone, it's never going to come back. And that's kind of the gasoline thing. If you save up just a little bit, cut back one cup of coffee, one trip, one fast food restaurant, whatever. You'll save enough to take care of the gasoline.
Well,
and again, think of the broad thing.
And think about it. I mean, it also depends on who you are.
I started the car up this morning and let it run for 15 minutes, so it'll be warm enough for my kids to get on the bus.
I mean, think about who you are. If you're a salesperson and you're on the road, and
I said that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there are definitely, if you're a trucker and they're a trucking company,
and if you work for Uber or you deliver service,
exactly.
I get that, and they're going to pass it along to the consumers.
Right.
Yeah.
But stop. I mean,
stop ordering out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, a Big Mac now costs $17.50 when I get it through Uber. Stop using Uber. It's right down the street. It's cheaper for you to drive down there, walk there.
You're becoming that guy. You're becoming that guy.
There's this whole thing too that they did on this Rawson report or whatever. Oh, that guy gets on my nerves. I liked this stuff for a while. But he was doing the whole Rawson report on how to save gasoline. Don't gas up when it's more than 83 degrees because gasoline it goes in the air. Make sure you get every last drip. Turn your car off when you're in car. Like, are we so stupid?
Yes.
That we need.
Well, we're hoarding. We're already hoarding, right? We're already hoarding. As soon as this stuff came out, we're already hoarding.
Stop with the gasoline. There's one friend of mine who's just talking about price gouging. They're not price gouging gasoline. We're not price gouging gasoline. It's what it costs. It's going to be $300 a barrel. Get over it. Start walking. Go buy yourself a cheaper car. This is Biden's way of getting us to buy electric. Stop.
By the way, I've got two friends who have Teslas. They're like,
oh, gee, Stephen called me the other day. He's like, I love my $75 Phillips. I drive a Tesla. Screw you. And people got pissed off. I'm like, good for you.
I heard about that. Yes. I mean, look, it is how we change behavior, right? You know that people who have the means right now, who have sort of been kicking around in their head, I don't know, electric car. Plus, all the makers are coming out with electric cars.
Yeah.
They couldn't be happier, not happier for the situation, but it's like $5 a gallon.
It needs to be like, they did this with Christmas lights. Do you remember when you used to be able to take your Christmas lights in, your old Christmas lights, and for every strand you brought in, you got $1 off the strand of LEDs?
Really?
They're for the environment. And so I would hoard like 100 strands of lights and take them in once a day and get $1 off because it was $10 for a strand of lights that's going to last 10 years, and it was like $1.99 for a strand of lights going to make it through Christmas, right? And so they need to do it with cars. When you trade your car in, you should get like extra money for your piece of shit gas guzzler in order to get an electric car, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But they don't do that. You get a tax credit.
You get a tax credit.
Yeah, whatever.
Maybe you don't pay your privilege tax.
Huh?
Maybe you could have the TKR electric car.
One thing that's not going up, that's actually going down,
yes,
is car insurance. Maybe because a lot of people aren't driving as much. The car insurance business is just a wonderful business. I wish I was Chris Doris's brother, because you always need insurance and you're always going to pay for insurance. But they gave back like $4 billion or whatever during COVID. They're great. 985-7799, 985-7799. Chris Doris, State Farm team. My son just got a car a couple weeks ago, and he's 17. I'm having to pay for his insurance. Yeah. Do I need to get liability on the other driver? Blah, 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 blah. He explained all that stuff. I was in there for 5 minutes. Got it done. He did the Steer Clear program. Yep. He took a driver's ed. He's got a 3.5 GPA. Saved me like $150 a month. That was killer. Good boy. Way to go, Santo Cruz Curry. Check out the team of Chris Doris' State Farm team. They're right down at John Hawkins Parkway. You can stop by and see them. People always talk about switching. If you're with State Farm, there ain't no reason to even look at anything else because you know you're getting a great deal. 985-7799, 985-7799. All right, so before we get into TikTok and Tinder, and by the way, we'll be on Fox 6 this morning in just about an hour at 9:35 this morning on Good Day, Alabama. Talking about one of these stories. We'll talk about a creepy stalker hid in a woman's attic, snuck out at night to film her sleeping, and even made copies of her house keys. Mauricio Guerrero, 20, became obsessed with an OnlyFans model he met online and began tracking her. He allegedly acquired the victim's keys and made copies of them. Now, how in the hell did he get caught? And how did he get in the attic? He got in the attic through the outside.
That's scary.
He hid in her attic and waited for her to fall asleep so he could creep downstairs and terrifyingly film her. The victim, identified only as NR, only released something or only realized there was something wrong when her mother started hearing strange sounds in the attic.
It's like a horror movie, dude.
According to the court documents, Damon entered the 24-year-old woman's home at least 4 times. He admitted he'd been chillingly planning to install a tracking device on her car as he stalked her campaign there. Cops arrested him after they found him climbing out of the woman's attic and onto the roof a few weeks ago. They discovered a string of disturbing clips on his mobile phone that he had taken of the woman as she slept naked. He was released with pretty strict bail conditions, you think? And I'm just trying to think. I saw the story and I've been sitting on it until you came in because I didn't even know what to say about it.
I mean, different attics are different.
How in the world can you be in someone's attic if someone's home, if you know exactly when she's gone or when she's
right.
In OnlyFans, I'm assuming she's filming all of her stuff at her home, right?
Yeah, maybe, yes.
Like if I could get in your house, in your attic, while you were gone.
You'd have to be, I mean, again, it depends on your attic. With my attic, first of all, my attic.
It creaks and makes noise.
Yeah, well, you'd fall through, too. I have the particle board, and if you're not working on the rafters, I told you the story about it. I'm almost castrated myself twice. So, like, yeah, I'm actually not that worried because anybody who's up in my attic, one wrong step, you're going right through into my garage.
You're doing the Christmas vacation?
Yes.
I'm still trying to figure out how in the world you can live. Even if she had like a huge home and he was in the attic at the other end of the house, you're going to hear a dude in your attic,
maybe
a 20-year-old. Yes, you are. It's impossible.
What was he doing in there?
I don't know.
Like, that's what I mean. If you're in there for 3
waiting for it. And then he crept downstairs. Like when I'm sleeping in my recliner and my daughter gets up at 3 o'clock in the morning and walks in the room and doesn't even... I can feel her look at wake up.
Did she do the Children of the Corn
She'll
thing?
sit there and look at you.
Yeah, my daughter did that. They just stare.
Like if a child's sleeping on the couch and you sit there and stare at them, they're going to wake up. They're going to go. They feel your presence. How in the hell does a guy walk downstairs 4 different times and film her sleeping naked and not be known? And the mother finds out that he's in the attic? I don't get it. Something doesn't jive with this story.
They're trying to go viral.
And if they announced what her name was, I would have thought, okay, she's trying to get followers.
No,
but they only said her name
like
is
it's
NR.
legit, yeah. That's some scary stuff. You just creep people out.
By the way, in New York City, a survey came out yesterday that 1 in 5 people in New York City would be willing to join OnlyFans so they could pay their rent.
Yeah, well, it's expensive to live there.
Fortunately, 1 in 5 people we don't want to see naked on OnlyFans. You have to be good looking. Forget taking your clothes off. I don't care. Anyone can take your clothes off.
That's a good.
You got to be good looking to be on OnlyFans.
They don't want to put it right.
If I was super hot,
okay.
if I was a woman, I'm going to say a woman because I know there's hot dudes on there too, but I look at that. But if I was a super hot woman and say I never done radio and no one knew my name, I wasn't even a brand, and I got an OnlyFans, could I make a living doing it?
According to OnlyFans, you can. You got to work it. The social, you and I know this, the social media stuff, you got to work it.
Yeah.
You can't just do it once. You got to keep doing it. You got to promote it. You got to brand it.
There's enough strange groups out there.
You need a production company. A good iPhone.
Yeah.
Got light. Yeah, you could do it. Look, you got lighting. You got it right here. You could just stand in front of your guitar naked.
I'm just going to get on.
You could just stand right behind. Oh, you know what you could do?
And hold the guitar over my crotch?
Yes. Kind of a throwback thing. Prince used to do that.
Yeah.
He did.
I can't believe he's dead.
I know.
All right, so Tinder has come out, and they're partnering up with an app that they own, I think, by the way.
That's why. Smart business.
That offers online background checks so that users can research whether their dates have been convicted of violent crimes. We used to have Jeff Hammock do that.
Yeah.
For people.
Yeah.
Match Group, Tinder's parent company, announced the partnership with Garbo, the online platform that allows users to access public information, including people's arrests, convictions, sex offenses, the registry, the whole 9 yards. You log on to the app's safety center, directed to Garbo, where they can input the name and phone number of their match. Have you ever done one of those weird things, those Google things, where it search the name and?
But then you have to pay.
Yeah.
I don't pay. I don't want to lay out.
Part of me doesn't want to know.
You search yourself or someone you know?
No, I didn't search myself.
Yeah, I've done that. I've done it just to see. And
I think my record's clean now. I don't think I got anything on there if you search Tony Kurre.
I didn't search you.
Yeah. That's always scary when one of your kids Googles your name.
Did I tell you? Should I share it on this?
Sure, absolutely.
Remember I told you? I don't know if I told you that somebody sent me
an
email. Well, it happened again. Somebody's using me on the, what's it called? Is it My Life? It's the over 50.
Yeah.
Or over. Someone just sent me another email that said, you know, I've come across your webpage and I follow you or whatever. Wanted to let you know I'm on, I think it's My Life, and your picture is being used by a guy named, claims to be David from Illinois. And this is the second time that my picture's been used for somebody else. I mean, it was the first time it was like Brian from...
That's a nice compliment.
Yeah, you know, I know, but it, like, I've never been in a situation where I felt like, okay, is my safety, you know, I've never felt like someone's into my stuff.
Yeah.
And I, you know, kind of nothing's happening. I mean, if you Google me, it's not like you. If you Google you, you don't have pictures of you everywhere. It's hard to find pictures of you. But, like, if you Google me, there's enough.
I had them taken off.
There's enough pictures that, I mean, it wouldn't be hard. Yes, it's complimentary that some dude over 50, of all the pictures he could have picked.
It's got to be someone you know, right? It's got to be someone that knows you. Like, why would they just randomly pick a picture of Dr. Josh Klapow from Birmingham, Alabama as their profile picture?
Well,
there's got to be some type of connection there. Do you know what the guy's last name is? Have you reached out to him?
No.
What are you trying to do to end it?
Nothing, because the first time they sent it, it just kind of went away. It was fine. It was like, oh, no, actually, I take it back. My bad. I immediately contacted the app because they have a complaint, not a complaint, like if you're being, and nothing happened.
And you're famous.
Yeah, but not in that way. It's creepy, dude.
Tinder and other dating apps, including Bumble, have come under pressure to act after women reported being sexually assaulted by men they met through online platforms.
I know. God, I'm telling you,
see,
my wife says this all the time. We are them. We're men, right?
Yeah.
Like, we just, what the F? Ugh. You know? That wasn't very deep, but, like, I just don't get it.
I don't get the men part. I obviously don't get that part. Because if a woman is responding to you enough that you would go on a date with you, you got a shot.
Well, now if they're assaulting you, then these are rapists.
Absolutely.
You know.
But in some cases, these are second and third dates.
Yeah.
So you're going out with a guy. It went well enough that you're deciding, and you like his profile, so she likes you. And unless you show up and you're totally different than what you said you are, well, no, you have a shot to get it. And she wants to be with you.
They're grouping. I mean, these are sickos. These are guys who are grooming for. I mean, it's listen. Even opportunistic rape and assault is not always just on the first encounter.
Yeah. In September 2020, Match Group hired Tracy Breeden. She's Vice President of Safety and Social Advocacy, whose portfolio includes Hinge, Match, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish. We believe we have an important role to play in creating safer spaces for everyone.
I agree.
Which is probably a good thing.
So listen, can I tell you? I don't know if you know this. Your kids are young.
Yeah.
Tinder is as mainstream as Facebook.
Yeah, Tinder used to be kind of nasty, but you're wide open.
It's us on Facebook.
And OnlyFans is becoming that way too.
Yeah.